Hi, Master Sergeant Miles here to show you the equipment tracker. It's great for test equipment
That's it. That's all
or
I
high
needed.
value items or anything you want to track. It auto updates every 5 minutes and it can work on the Air Force network if you put it on a shared drive if you need multiple users at different locations updating it, or you can even do it as it's seen in the pictures on a standalone computer somewhere in your office. Okay, so this is the equipment tracker. When you first open it, this is how it's going to look. If you double click this right here where it says asset list, it might be minimized. If you get any warnings, pop-ups, just click OK. So basically what this is it allows you in one place to track your TMDE, your test equipment, your R14, CSRL, or high value assets, anything you're just trying to keep accountability of. It's something that Gary Sharp built back in the day and I kind of expanded upon it. So let's go over some of the basics. So starting at the top, there's this little search bar right here. And what that allows you to do is you can just type in whatever and then hit enter. And then it will show you everything it can find. But what's cool about it is if you have a PMEL ID, if you have a name, model, R14 number, anything like that, you can type it in there and then it will show up, whatever that looks like. So that's what I wanted. So for example, like, hey, which O-scope is the one that the power button sticks? Because you can put comments. So starting at the top, locations and users list. You click that, you can add locations or users, and you just click right here, and you can just add a location. You can add people or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And then whenever you're done, you click save. The search bar works also with a barcode scanner. And so all test equipment has a barcode already on it from PMEL. So you just click in here, scan it with your barcode scanner.
That's it. That's all I needed.
And then click enter. Your overdue, due in 14 days, and not due gives you a nice little forecast. And so you can actually sort, oldest to newest or newest to oldest. And then you can actually see which test equipment's coming up due or not due. So this is super useful for PMIs, maintenance, outages. So if you need to get some maintenance done before you turn something in, very helpful. Still going from the top. So we all have to write performance statements now, and it's still nice to have numbers. So you can identify total number of your TMDE, your R14, how many assets you have, and that's what that is right there. And finally, show/hide fields. You can click this and you can decide what you want to show or what do you want to show to your users depending on where you're at. And then the columns that I've picked so far, but I'll show you how to edit those. You got your PMEL ID, your PMEL due date, what it is, manufacturer, model, owner, like where is it at, comments. Also super useful, you can also add pictures. So I know we have sometimes different types of equipment that look different ways. You can add pictures of all of your assets, and that's super useful for people who don't know what things look like. So like, hey, what is this piece of equipment? Boom. Oh, I've seen that before. It helps a lot of airmen if you've never seen something before. There's different models. Pretty useful. And then, of course, you can put your serial number. That helps if you've got like items. Everything's automatic. Always updates the date on its own. And so the way it works in practice, at least for your PMEL. So let's say I take this variable attenuator into the PMEL shop. I'm going to delete its date. I'm going to change the order. I'm going to change the owner to PMEL. And I'm just going to delete the comment and good to go. And so let's say when I drop this off, this digital watt meter came back, and let's say it's now due in that date, and now it's back in the TMDE cabinet at the shop. In TMDE cab. However your shop wants to handle it. And then it's automatically put right back in the fold, and then it'll turn yellow when it's 14 days due out, and then turn it back in or wherever it has to go. Now, if these columns don't work for you, I'll show you the back end. And so this is for your PMEL and R14 monitor. You click Assets. Everything is literally just built off like an Excel table. It's pretty basic. You just punch in your item if you're at the very bottom, or you can also right click and then delete record if you no longer have it. Obviously, if there's no PMEL ID, if it's just an R14 asset, then obviously there's no PMEL number. So let's say we're just adding the DASR itself. I can put all this information in, and then obviously not put a PMEL ID or whatever have you. Something my shop wanted, and I'll show you how simple it is. They want a column for this is normally found or return to kind of thing, just so that people know which multimeter goes back to which site. All you do is right up here, add little text, return to, I'm just going to call it that, and I just added a column return to. So let's say this item is supposed to go back to the radar, and that's the location for that item, and then I can click save and then close. And this is really for the back end. This is just for your PMEL monitors or whatever else. To add a new column, you go to layout view, property, add existing fields, and then return to. And then return to has been added. Simple as that. The other thing that I do recommend, again, we're in layout view, property sheet, you can lock it. And when it's locked, that means, let's go back to form view, your users, I'm typing away, can't edit this. Like, this will always be a fixed coaxial attenuator. The only thing that I want the average person in the shop being able to adjust is, let's say, is the PMEL due date, or the owner comments, and so I can lock or not lock certain columns depending on what I want people to use, and then I can show our high fields. That's pretty much it. That's the gist of it. And it's also small enough, as long as you don't have your pictures all attached to it, that you can also email this, which is pretty nice. And if you'd like a copy, just shoot me an email and I'll gladly shoot one your way. Thanks.